I have this sort of aesthetic love of like the Edwardian period and that kind of movement into like the 20th century. And so I kind of had that in the background. I had just finished reading a book called The Children's Book by A.S. Byatt, which was incredible. And I mean, just is full of so much information and history. And so that was sort of swimming around in my brain. And then when I started thinking seriously about a story that I wanted to write, my original thought was the Land Army during the Second World War, because that's what I was familiar with. But when I was reading about the Land Army, I discovered that it actually was started in the First World War. And there were a few sort of different permutations before the one that we recognize really came together at the very end in 1917. And in the research and reading that I was doing there was a lot of contention around the idea of women doing war work that wasn't nursing, that wasn't a caring kind of job. And that wasn't pushback only from farmers or from men, but from women themselves. There was a real discomfort with the idea of upper class or even sort of middle class women doing what was considered labor in the fields. And so some of the other countries, in France, for instance, the women were working much earlier in the war in terms of like getting food and helping with all of those things. But it took quite a long time for people in England to come around to that idea.